Starting a little bit with the Rockets.
No, TGK is not the only pro that plays controller, chat.
A little bit of that bonus health coming in.
I think he might be the only pro that's at LAN right now, though.
So Genji, they are 6-0 in their last matches on Hell's Heaven. 100 Thieves have kind of floated a little bit. They're 1-3, so it definitely favors Genji just in terms of statistics. I love getting to see this map overhead about how people are starting this one off. Bobo's going to be a big focus for this game. Has been an incredible flex here for Gen.G, and I think they're going to need to rely on him a lot if they are going to topple 100 Thieves here.
Also very worth paying attention to FMCL here. Self on that Black Cat, inhabiting a lot of Daredevil as a counter to Black Cat. Trying to track her, but she turns invisible and pick her off. It's something that came in from those grand finals last year. Got Moxie pointing that out very early, and already Bobo with the extra
Uh-oh. 100 Thieves is the first one to go down. I do have Gen.G winning this, chat. Listen, I love GTK, I love 100 Thieves, but I do think Gen.G's winning this.
But Vinny is getting bullied here. Bubble, Pop, and Gen.G take first fight.
Yeah, they capitalize on getting that 6 versus 5. They had to, really. If they had been able to elongate that one, 100 Thieves, maybe they could stall. But I like that the desk were pointing out the group could come out here for Vinny, which it has. I do agree with them that I feel like it's a wasted lock on the fact that you have to protect this Lunar Snow over and over again for 100
Would I use a controller for
Millennia,
content? I already have done that.
Prove to us why it's so
I think there's some YouTube videos.
So much pressure onto the board here. Skittles has set up Battle Rebirth Beacon, so they have the Heal of Need. You can see the traps set by Bobo, looking for Self or Deleda or Vinny, anyone who steps up to try and get into position. The Gambit card bubble for a little bit of extra healing with that mag team up. But right now, Gen.G, they have all the positioning they need, using that extra damage bonus on the shield with the Invisible Woman Torch team up.
Invisible Woman's an interesting one because they don't have the Gambit. Of course, it's a one-sided Gambit game as Bobo under a little bit of pressure. Does have the help, but TTK in the KO feed is able to get one onto Duet. And it looks like now they're going to have to use ult here to try and stay alive, Gen.G.
Oh, they killed it pretty fast. Wow.
At the Battle Rebirth Beacon, so they only have a single Vanguard on the board, but they're making the most of it as Zenstari puts the pressure onto the assaulting members of Thieves. But in the meantime, Delena on the high ground takes out FMCL.
Oh, almost hit that.
Out, but Skittles is eliminated from the board, and suddenly Thieves, with the Strangling Prism setup, are piling onto the point for the flip.
Yeah, it's an ult fest now, isn't it? Millennia had to pop Fate of both words as well to keep people alive, as Delena, again, is just tearing through these back lines. As maybe Meteor can and will connect here, as Vinny himself
has been one of my favorite Magnetos to watch in this tournament, bro. He has been popping off.
To set up for the team, but Gen.G, they never even let it get flipped.
This person has been making some like game-breaking, game-changing plays.
FMCL just letting his team come through and then potentially planning on swapping off by the looks of it, just making sure they reinforce. But with Bobo down, Battle Rebirth Beacon brings them back, and FMCL's coming back on the Daredevil. But TTK taking the most of the opportunity to try and make a move.
It's a huge fight. It's a must-win fight here for 100 Thieves. You feel if they lose this one, they'll probably lose this round, but they are fighting tooth and nail at the moment. But FMCL on the Daredevil can absolutely bully the Black Cat, and in the moment it is a chase, and he's been able to force him away.
The portal to escape.
That was a nice portal myself.
The Daredevil cannot follow you. Winnie coming on in with the Rage of Royal Flush for the extra damage output to try and push onto the point, but the invisible boundary from Alex is delaying. He's here as the substitute, but is really trying to make his name as he's been to every single land before. As Gen.G,
Gen.G 100 to 0. 100 to 0,
after dropping down into this lower bracket, taking this first round. Of course, it's not job done yet, but they looked excellent. I did like their lock and ban phase. I agree with Shib. I prefer the one-sided Magneto over the one-sided Gambit. I do think Gambit is losing a little bit of his stock value at this LAN at the moment as well. That ult is so much easier to counter than I think people realized when he first came out. The fact you've got the invisible boundary as a counter here for them. And then with the, like I was talking about, the lock being used on that Luna, and now even the switch off of the Luna, you have to ask the question, why are we using the lock on a hero that you're not even going to be used going into it if they do see the swap?
It's a good question. They're going to get set up here. Self is going to stick with this Black Cat, despite the fact that FMCL will be marking him here. Does have the ultimate charged up already, so they do have their own setup at the go. Zenstari also almost there to a clobbering time. Could get ready for a dive early. Delena very nearly with that new Black Widow ult, which could be huge, especially on this point where there's some great opportunities for some nice flanking pickups here, as Winnie is going to stick with the Gambit.
Delena has been the saving grace for 100 Thieves often. When they are struggling, just manages to find a pick and completely turn the tide in their favor, and they will be relying a lot on him to be able to do so in this one. But early pressure has been applied already by Gen.G here to try and take this point. And keep an eye on FMCL. If you can flank around, get an early pick on that Daredevil, it could be huge to get this first point.
Point being moved on here. FMCL looking for the flank link to try and get onto the backline. Has great tracking going into the backline. Immediately comes out with the Black Cat ult from himself. Delena committing as well. They want to try and pick this off before Gen.G can get any momentum. Glassrocks comes out from Bobo though, and Vinny is taken down, but it's a trade. Vanguard for Vanguard. Zenstory taken off the board as the Devil has been unleashed. But great clobbering time to lock him down to try and prevent the pickup.
I'm telling you, bro, this guy is a Magneto goat.
Delena will fall. Gen.G once again with the momentum heading into the second point.
Meteor M making a difference. How many Meteor M's have we seen just go wayward so far this tournament? But making it count, finding self, and just making sure you find an elimination with it. If you don't, it feels a little bit lackluster.
He does not miss his ult shot.
Get first point again, and we already saw 100 Thieves struggle to regain point once. If they struggle again here, they might just lose this match to her.
Barrier coming on out from the Invisible Woman with
100 Thieves might be the first team to actually get knocked out of the tournament, and this is their home, bro. This is their home city.
And start to push on through. Viddy has that straggling prism. He's trying to wait out Duet to see if they could go in for the full engage. Boundary comes on out from Millennia as they commit to the fight. Zenstory pushing on in.
He didn't get the res, bro.
Them back, but that means there's no more Duet. Gen.G, their front line widely considered to be one of the best, is just being taken down fight after fight. But Skittles is doing huge work on the Rocket to keep them in this fight. Bobo trying to trade up and gets taken down by himself on the high ground.
I think this fight was given away by Gen.G. They didn't really need to Invisible Boundary. Alex dropped it a little bit too early. They could have just taken the loss, come back, and then pop the Invisible Boundary a little bit later. Similarly to what Gen.G, it happened earlier. Alex was popping a few Gambit ults at questionable times. I know he's coming in as a substitute, so there is that extra pressure. But at the same time, this execution on ults has to be better here for Gen.G.
Bobo's onto the Punisher, FMCL onto the Storm. They're going just for maximum damage output with Battle Rebirth Beacon, Cosmic Yarn Amplifier for damage, and of course that Storm damage boost with that Thor to team up and the movement speed boost if need be, but Bobo's already taken down. Battle Rebirth Beacon brings them back into the fight as the Yarn Amplifier allows the possession to come on through, but Glassrocks to try and split the team in two. FMCL is taken.
Where's Vinny? He has to hit that one, bro. Vinny's looking for it, bro.
And Thieves are dealing with this beautifully, but Delena is taken down a second time after that Glassrock.
Yeah, we'll see. Alex makes up for the ult earlier, as now you will see Strangling Prison does come out.
He only hit the thing and the thing lived?
A chance to
what
turn
happens
the
to the
tide
loser? They're out of the tournament.
Something here, anything.
Oh, come on, we were just glazing you, bro. How can you miss?
Things up as Zenstory's gone down, and suddenly 100 Thieves are going to get the wipe.
TTK with the clobbering time is able to set on up, and they've taken them down. This means that Thieves will take the lead. Gen.G forced to reset. They're very staggered on those takedowns, meaning that they are forced to wait this out and give Thieves even more charge. Thieves have Kraken Impact, Invisible Boundary, and they're getting set up to try and prevent Gen.G from moving in. But Gen.G, Omega Hurricane, Final Judgment, and the clobbering time, Invisible Boundary, they are about to have a huge ult economy advantage. They want to make the most of it. Charge coming on in from Zenstory. Omega Hurricane to try and force out the defensive tools, and they do so, but they lose FMCL for it.
How do you go down there? TTK able to get a big KO, but of course it is going to be brought back from the BRB, as now again and again we go from self here. This is a huge fight for the chances of 100 Thieves, but can you avoid the Final Judgment? That's the real question. Bubbles coming out left, right, and center.
There's no way Vinny lives that, bro. Okay.
Terrain for the protection, but Vinny will finally fall, but they burnt so much for that. Delena falls. They're pushed off the point, but they're not giving it up. They still delay. They're still holding as Thieves take us to the overtime. Gen.G trying to push on it. They have both their strategist ultimates for the sustain, and that is going to be Thieves backing up, realizing they can't force it. They're only going to put themselves in danger of being staggered. They're just going to back up and let it reset.
Good decision from Thieves, though. You want to be able to give yourself at least 2 attempts at trying to take this point. Yes, you will get 1 natural walk up here, and you do have the Raging Royal Flush to use, which could give you a significant advantage, but there is the Seer on the other side and the Invisible Boundary, and this is what I was talking about earlier, Tej. You have counters for that Raging Royal Flush, depending on when 100 Thieves pop this one.
They are at
yeah, dude, I don't know if this is normal, but I feel like Duet always has his Magneto ult. He gets his ult so fast.
Duet about to have Meteor M as well, because they force the boundary out, and then immediately the Cosmic Yarn Amplifier a little bit before the boundary expires, meaning that Gen.G kind of have to make the move now, and need to be careful of Viddy. A straggling Prism is out
also,
the now. Duet
that's really bad for Gen.G, double support ulting there.
A lot of time as
yeah, that's not something you want to see in a tournament.
Just need to clean out Thieves here and do it before a portal comes back in as boundary. 4 Thieves to try commit to the point, waiting for the bubble to pop to try and snipe.
Oh!
Straggling Prison for the turnaround with the Invisible Woman shield, but it's the back.
Did Vinny miss his ult again?
He talks it down as Self is popping off.
Strange portals can definitely make a difference here on both sides, and now you can see clobbering time just try and generate a little bit of space here. Vinny's fallen, Millennia goes down, and Winnie as well.
The portal comes on in from Delena to reinforce because overtime ticks down.
GG's chat, wow.
Block him! Gen.G! What a performance! They are able to take map number 1.
That is a statement performance
Wow.
from Gen.G. If you ever doubted them, if you had any sort of worries about how they were going to be into this
Wow.
series against 100 Thieves, it is answered immediately. Great ult usage. Chemistry was perfect throughout. And I love the execution on some of those pushes as well. They thought completely how they wanted to approach them. They always had the answer to some of the ults on the other side. Great counters all around. And Gen.G
Come on,
take the
100
first
Thieves,
map
bro.
relatively comfortably if you look at it as a 2-0.
The biggest threat to them was 100% self.
Wait, that
just
player
being able
from
to put pressure on the
Gen.G
back
just
line,
got up and
but
left, bro. He
sticking
said
to
this
the
shit was
Black
too
Cat,
fucking
even when
easy.
it was being
He doesn't
cracked
even
in
want to
the
play
first round,
anymore.
And then when we started to see
He thought
the
that
protection
100
on the
Thieves
back
was gonna
line
be a
from
challenge.
Gen.G in
He
the
just
second
got up and
round,
left.
They were still sticking it to it. It was 9 pickups for Bobo, 8 for Self. They really competed with each other there.
And seeing the solo mag against the solo gambit yet again.
He probably
is
had to go to the
one-sided
bathroom.
mag that is
I
able
don't
to
know.
take advantage of that one and actually do up getting 9 final hits as well. And some of them being Meteor M. We've seen some pretty bad Meteor M so far this tournament, but now finally people are finding those final hits.
Zoning ultimates, as we shall
Yeah,
call
we'll
them.
take that. Yeah.
What a show so far. Remember, this is a best of 5. We're not in that same hyper danger situation where every single loss is a full elimination. But whoa, Gen.G, 100 Thieves, they were bringing it back for a little bit there.
He had to go
but
wipe
Gen.G
after what he
seemed to
just
have
did. Wait,
control
what?
every
Also,
single
to be
time,
honest
and
with
a
you,
lot
I
of
don't
that,
think
feel,
I don't
comes
think
down
100
to
Thieves is
Zen's
a
story.
good
His
king of the
clobbering
hill
times
team.
were extremely impactful.
So,
Just really well timed, right? There was a couple of times they were down a player or two, and that clobbering time just elongated the fight quick enough to allow the rest of the team to catch up, knock those players up in the air, and also, I mean, the fact that Bobo was able to do what Bobo was doing. Some of the damage he was outputting, some of the KOs he was able to find really did change things in their favor. And Gen.G, I'm sure they're going to be full of confidence going into the second, which I wouldn't be surprised if we end up at Museum of Contemplation.
Grand finals are
as
on
we so often
Saturday,
do, and
chat.
100 Thieves often are very
The last
good
day of the
at Museum
tournament.
of Contemplation, but we'll wait for that decision to be made.
yeah, we're probably
On
going to
Bobo,
museum.
he has also been to every single land so far we have had for Marvel Rivals Ignite, qualifying for mid-season finals last year with Team Nova from China. Got knocked out by a team called Gen.G. Different team, an Asian roster this time. Came back for the grand finals on Chopper Mag, an OCE team joining a very strong selection
No,
of Aussie
100
players.
Thieves is not
And
out
then
yet,
finally,
chat. The
for
games
this
are not
event,
even done.
Genji, the team that knocked him out last time, picked up Chopper Mag and are bringing it in here with the substitute Alex from Heretics, really putting on a show.
And now on the other side for 100 Thieves,
Yeah.
this is where
Yo,
it starts to get a little
Gilfrey.
bit worrying.
Appreciate the
Right?
massive
You
done
look
on my
at the
friend.
history of lands,
Appreciate it.
third place, then fourth place. Now they're at the risk of a top 8 finish if they were to lose this series. I mean, even trying to get into the top 4 from here, they would likely have to beat someone of Swamp Gaming or TLC. So again, this is a very difficult route in this lower bracket, especially if you look at the other side and what other teams may have to face. But they might fall at the first hurdle if Gen.G are
Is today
playing
gonna
this
be a
way.
24-hour
And looking
stream?
at the
No,
stats
no,
again,
we have 2 more
Bobo,
matches.
huge standout.
We have
not
this
only with the amount
match
of
and the
eliminations,
next
but also,
match,
of course,
both
those
best of
final
5s.
hits were
Probably going to be another
hugely
2-3 hours, and then we're done.
23,000
And tomorrow's
damage,
another
putting
day.
on such a show for the audience here live in Los Angeles. Whereas
You
Self was
should
just
have
trying
played,
to burst
Pummel
people
Party with
down.
us.
You got a good comparison. It's going to be Delena. 18,000 damage was keeping up. It was just trying to stick on that Widow for a while, just trying to snipe him from a distance. But the mobility
Also,
of
I don't know
Bobo
if anyone
when
here
he was
loves
on that
sunflower
Elsa
seeds, but
was
dude,
proving too
sunflower
hard to
seeds are
deal with.
I do
delicious.
like the Punisher over the Black Widow at times. I think the final judgment can be so much more impactful if timed correctly, because you can just delete those Vanguards in such a speed that they don't really have a chance to answer back. Sure, on the other side
just
of the Black
normal
Widow,
flavor, chat.
it's about trying to target those strategists at time, see if you can catch some of those backliners, and then you will naturally win the fight from front to back. But I do think that Momo was the difference maker here. Bobo, excuse me.
I played baseball a long time ago, bro.
It does have an effect.
I
It's
love
something that
sunflower
we did
seeds.
see a little bit last year, almost at mid-season finals time. It was just a little bit out of phase with that. But we did see Storm and Punisher rolling together, usually with Mag, to make sure that when Punisher ults, you just shield them. And we're not going to Museum, Central Park. When in Los Angeles, not New York, but an American
J-Bomb, that's
map
exactly
for an
what
American
brand I
themed
have.
team.
Yeah, perhaps learning the lesson of how so many have fallen on Museum when you take them there, and it doesn't seem to be the best practice, especially against Gen.G when we know what they can do at Museum as well. So I like this. It's something that's a little bit different at Central Park, and of course it opens up the floodgates for the potential
I think
trip
this is our first
as well
Central
that we've seen
Park.
so much of from 100 Thieves. But on the other side, we saw earlier, Genji was successful at breaking out of the trip defense they went up against. So I do think they still have a fantastic opportunity here, depending on how these lock-and bans go. Now, this is where, you know, do you try and get rid of
couldn't play
Penny,
Emma
for example?
Emma
You
was
just get rid of
banned.
the Ultron, so you don't have to worry about it as well.
I'm so glad you brought that up because, of course, this map has one main entrance point, one very small wraparound route, and one aerial wraparound route. It makes it incredibly difficult to frontline push, and someone who's great at dealing with frontline pushes is the Penny. So if they can keep those side lanes covered, that front entrance could be completely zoned off by a good Penny Parker player as, wow, what a surprise.
Shocking news! Mantis gets banned first. Someone, please. Let me just see it. I want to see it once. Magneto is going to be the protect on the other side. 100 Thieves have learned their lesson.
Yep.
By the looks of it, they said, okay, yeah, we can't let that one go through. Cannot get our Magneto banned away. And it will open things up for Gen.G to take away Thing. And there we see Thing gets banned.
This gives FMCL a little bit more freedom if he wants to stick with that Daredevil, removing that grounded ability from the Thing. Means he can dive in, or even opens him up for a Black Cat if that's something that Gen.G do wish to play. And they will, of course, have secured themselves a Magneto as well. We've been talking about
100 Thieves saved Magneto.
The stocks are high in Magneto Inc. right now.
I mean, especially even with Trip coming into effect, you put one of your flex DPS onto that Vanguard, and suddenly they turn into a beast as well. The Chaos Sword just outputs far too much damage to deal with. And someone who is good at targeting that backline, you can completely
Someone said check up on
turn a
Nate
fight
Shot.
in your favor. Loki's
I'm pretty sure Nate Shot probably doesn't even know that his team is playing
getting rid
in a
of
tournament.
Loki. We know that sometimes he can be the difference maker from the backline as well.
Potential for the damage boost, the invulnerability from the regeneration domain, and of course, any ult you have is also now mine. So taking that away is a good strat. Thieves also going to remove the Thing. Zen Starry a little bit too scary, and another Zen Starry classic here. The Groot is banned in the form of Genji, and they protect it for Zen Starry themselves.
Wow, a solo-sided Groot as well. I mean, 100 Thieves, they looked pretty good on the Groot previously, so I don't hate getting rid of it and taking it away from Vinny. And there has been a lot of bans against 100 Thieves targeting that Vanguard frontline as the Adam Warlock gets removed on one side. And again, I think this is pretty good. We've seen the one-sided Adam
Chat, look what
Warlock
Emily
be
made.
very beneficial.
Emily made me
about this Ultron
a
team
pina
up with
colada.
the Penny and with the Adam. We've been looking at teams banning out the Ultron as the anchor for it because it nerfs Adam a little bit, but the best part about Adam isn't the Ultron team up, it's the res. Karmic Revival is so impactful for these big defenses.
Genji have to go for an Adam Warlock ban and try and counter this one, I think, and they will, because again, yeah, one-sided just would have been unfair. It will be, however, a one-sided Loki, so that is something that 100 Thieves can work on, but is it going to be better than the one-sided Groot? I guess only time will tell.
Is she
Something has to
looking
be
for
played by
side
100
girlfriend
Timo
application?
to answer these Groot walls. They can
question.
be such a nuisance to try and deal with, especially when you're trying to push into this first point as well.
When you see that traditionally, we see a couple of heroes who have been good counters to it. We've actually seen Ultron used very effectively because if you can't shoot through a wall, you might as well shoot over it.
Yo, chat, I'm gonna be honest with you guys.
The main ones we've seen are people who can either benefit from the walls or take them down quickly. This has been Punisher, who has been very popular these days.
I might be gone
and
in
of
30
course,
minutes.
The Moon Knight, who we did see earlier coming in from TLC.
Chat, I just want to. I just want to say I love you guys.
It used to be Winter Soldier
I love
until
you.
Ironwood
I love you
Wall was
guys.
added for the group, which gave him in the vulnerability aspect to it.
This map sometimes does traumatize me a little bit as well. I think back to the online season, we had our first draw of the season on Central Park as well, with neither team able to take the first point, not even a notch on it. But I'm sure these teams now are a little bit more well-drilled and well-practiced, well-versed, as Gen.G will be on the defense to start things off here, and it looks like they're going to go for something that's a little bit more traditional. They're not going for a trip or anything silly. Instead, they're going to try and utilize that Daredevil that you had mentioned earlier.
About as standard as you can get. Daredevil, well, he did get a little bit of a nerf to his scouting capabilities in a patch recently. He does still offer a lot of scouting potential, especially if anyone wants to go on the flank, and he is great at tracking down people like even the Storm. Daredevil's able to get up to that high ground very easily, but overall, Gen.G just sticking about as standard as you could possibly get. 2 Vanguards, 2
Okay, I'm going to
and
stay
2
quiet
Thrashes.
and eat, but I know you guys are going to miss me, right?
Doing a lot of work here. Looks like they're going to swap off.
Yeah, an instant swap over to Elsaf. You see what the composition is on the other side. I think there was a little bit of a speed boost just to get them closer, see what was going to happen on the flip side of Gen.G. Now we'll just be holding this natural point that everyone seems to hold, and at the moment a lot of damage going over towards Duet, who was incredible on Mag last time, but you can see what happens when you do get caught. When he brings
Gen.G
back
is
Vinny,
such a strong
how many times
team,
have we
bro.
seen that so far, as FMCL again taking down Delena, who has not had a great time when having to go over to that Bucky.
Gen.G take a little bit of space. They push back up to trap them in that main entrance archway, but they're not going to overcommit. They're just staying near the wall, ready to back up with Skittles with a great setup for them here. You can see them holding on to that damage boosting shield with that Psionic projection for a little bit of extra burst, and of course that survivability in case anyone gets picked off. Self looking for a hook here, but for now just pinging in with the Tainted Voltage.
One bonus for 100 Thieves, they do have the Emma Frost. I think TTK not having that in the previous did hurt them. We know how good TTK can be on this Emma. If you can get a good grab, it can make the difference. You could actually get the push onto the point with one successful grab here.
Another hero who's very good into the Groot as well. You can just keep your charge up, and right now already at 100%, committed to the Psionic Seduction, and the high ground is dove onto by Valence to try and set up here. They're not going to find a pickup. Skittles' boundary keeps the team topped up, but Thieves have taken space, trying to push them off the point here, and they're getting a little bit of charge onto the ball. Good lockdown. Delena looking for the flank, trying to force them into that choke point to keep the pressure on, but with the Cosmic Yarn Amplifier, Gen.G looking for the turnaround. Zenstari trying to just lock them in. You can't leave! You can't leave! Pushing them off the point as the meteor.
Vinny, you gotta hit someone. You gotta hit someone, Vinny. Oh, Vinny!
The invisible boundary stock has gone up so much this tournament, as well as Zenstari takes down Millennia. And it looks like 100 Thieves are going to have to just back out of this one. They've lost too much. They will have to go again.
100 Thieves is getting, like,
to that
rolled.
fight as well. The Sia plus the Psionic Seduction, and they still couldn't find success in that fight as FMCL will just clean up the final pieces here. There'll be a chance to breathe. The only positive here for 100T, they did get 2 notches on this point. So there's slightly less to do. If they can wait and do exactly what they did previously, force Gen.G off that point, maybe they can break it here with 1:27 left on the clock.
They have Portal, they have Time, and they have Ultimates. Galatrox, the Apex Predator, and here comes the Raging Royal Flush. This is the commitment. Meteor up to absorb as many of those hits as possible. The Apex Predator takes out Delena, though, as it was countered by...
Oh, nice block by TTK.
Can't use their ult as they're stuck in the spawn, and immediately all that momentum from 100 Thieves is getting zoned away by Gen.G. Duep keeping the pressure onto the backline, looking to try and take out those regeneration domain lamps. High ground being taken by the members of Thieves. The Stealth looks to the high ground to try and take anyone out that they can, but they're taking a lot of damage. The healing from Loki is good, but boundary from Skittles.
Another boundary already. Yes, the Galatrox comes out, but it doesn't actually find enough. Winnie has fallen. FMCL does go down, but with TTK going down as well, 100 Thieves may just have to back away slightly once more. Self has not been able to hit this Kraken impact yet. Has been waiting for the right time, but no one's been low enough to even engage here as 100 Thieves running out of time. They are building ultimates, though. TTK will have Psionic Seduction again.
Okay, if 100 Thieves loses this next fight with almost 4 ults, chat,
Gen.G are doing very well.
I'm gonna cry.
It's about to have Cosmic Yarn Amplifiers, their only defensive tool at the ready, meaning that Thieves have their old advantage here. They're going to come in with the Psionic Seduction into the choke point, diving huge into the backline. The Amplifier comes on out to try and keep them topped up as TTK is brawling back here. Kraken impact takes down one. Self with the reset, looking for the second. There's a lot of
okay, at least they didn't lose with 4 ults, chat.
Gen.G tried as they might, but in the end, 100 Thieves, they just built up too much pressure. Again, the 2 notches were such a big difference, and was that a misclick from Vinny?
Vinny is extra hungry. Couldn't have even waited for the meal there, but that's a big ult to build back up.
Yeah, it is. That's a shame from Vinny, but 100 Thieves all
Yo, Rain, you might want to talk to your boy.
2 minutes
Rain.
to get to the second, and Gen.G do have the advantage when it comes to the ult economy. FMCL still holding on to let the devil out. You combine that with Bobo's Galatrox here, there is a big opportunity to win this fight quickly.
Well, they did use all 4 ults to win that.
You can zone them here.
Technically.
It's a big setup here. FMCL trying to dive on him, but Self is tracking them now on the Daredevil of their own. Looking for a wrap on. You can see the chase coming on in. Zenstari trying to force them back into their own choke point. You can see the upgraded regeneration domain from the Loki. Meteor Ram, backline! Self is taken down as Duep keeps the pressure on the board. Set up to the high ground by the rebuilding map. Gonna go with the magnetic descent down to the low ground. Heals their team up, and FMCL has fallen. Bobo has fallen. The damage is off the board, but they're still delaying. They're still holding Gasket.
This is really good time wasting at the moment from Gen.G. As 100 Thieves, they will eventually regain control
we
of this
don't
card.
know what the what the 100 Thieves is thinking. Maybe before that last fight to cap the point, they said, hey, let's use all 4 ults.
Of course, you have to be very careful and time that correcttly. Perhaps
they won the fight with 3 ults. They didn't have to use Vinny. And then, you know, you don't want to go against what your team is saying, so Vinny had to use his ult. Make sure all 4 ults.
Coming out from TTK,
you know what I'm saying?
trying to prevent that dive from Gen.G and get that wrap around the
that's a fat TTK ult, bro.
Gasket. The defense
that was
a
fat TTK ult.
And now it's a question of if you try and burn the portal, but I don't even think there's time for that as 100 Thieves push on.
Wow,
in
they rolled the second phase.
This is where TTK and the
you guys guys just don't understand, but the reason that 100 Thieves rolled that whole second phase is because Vinny ult in the beginning.
In one fell swoop.
Good Vinny ult.
So there's been no option of a stagger into a portal from the Gen.G
Is that our
side,
power?
which has allowed 100 Thieves now to get into that second point. 2 minutes left to try and get up these stairs. We know this is the most difficult part of this map.
Yeah, I saw the light flicker. Is it back?
Moving over to the Angela, wants to try and take advantage of the environment.
We lost power for a
and
little
keep the
second,
pressure
chat.
onto that backline. Here comes
Did my camera flicker? Yeah.
Mirrored against that Raging Royal Flush for the extra pressure onto the board as Thieves taking it slow and steady, just trying to keep the pressure on and wipe out the Ultra Skittles here. And with Alex at 90%, if they can take him down early, that could be huge. 97, 98. Raging Royal Flush at the ready as Genji pull back, but they've lost 2. They might as well just reset at this point, but that allows Thieves to take a huge position.
This is one reason why you don't allow Gambit plus Loki. The back-to-back Raging Royal Flushes are just too difficult to deal with. 100 Thieves taking full advantage of their lock-in ban phase here as now Gen.G have to reset. They do have the Gambit of their own now, though. Alex can pop that on their side with 1 minute 10 left on the clock. A good chance for Genji to win this fight, but there's still going to be time for 100 Thieves to re-engage.
Room lies ahead. Raging Royal Flush. The flush comes on out. Genji pushing off the point to try and zone them away. They have this protected for the moment, and once again, Regeneration Domain says absolutely not. A Raging Royal Flush finds only positioning.
That being said, Meteor M is still there as Kraken Impact as well for Gen.G, so they still have an advantage when it does come to these ults, and there is the Kraken Impact. Doesn't connect as much. You do a little bit of damage with the Meteor
These
M.
Buckies are making me sad, chat.
Forced 100 Thieves away, but at what cost? They've lost 2, make it 3 now.
Duet's going to be taken down. FMCL is on the point, delaying as much time with that bonus health on the Winter Soldier as they can, but there's only so much.
Also, I feel like Gen.G is selling right now. Oh my god, sells. Good shit.
But they are hell-bent as they are taken off the board. And
wow, dude. 100 Thieves went from getting full health to actually capping it all. That is insane.
Hitting the 3 with 19 seconds remaining. It looked a little bit dicey at point 1, Tetra. I have to be honest.
You guys
Genji
might hate him,
so well
but
being able to
Vinny's ult changed the game on Venom. You guys might not see the vision, but I see the vision.
Got it moving. Gen.G, they just looked a little bit out of sorts, a little bit sporadic with their movements and their placements. And now 100 Thieves, they capitalize, they take a 3-0 lead here, and they set the pace for Gen.G.
10 finals for Delena. 10 and 3 total, with 21 of those being eliminations. The pressure they are doing is huge. And here it comes, Gaskin. The penny is being hovered. It is time for 100 Thieves. While Gen.G go for standard, 100 Thieves now know that all they have to do is to
Delena,
stop
21 and
Gen.G
3
at any single point. If they can delay, if they burn through time, throwing bodies at the point, every single sacrifice is worth it now if they can just stop Gen.G.
Well, this is where 100 Thieves are well versed. This is where they're well practiced, right? This trip is, it screams 100 Thieves. I know that we're starting to see a lot of these other teams using this style of composition as well. But 100 Thieves always look at their very best when they have this structure of the triple Vanguard into the triple Strategist. And again, that penny is going to be such a nuisance to try and deal with for Gen.G. That's where we look over towards Bobo. Your job, delete those nests if you can, or single nest, depending on what upgrade we have. And of course, we do have the Panther team up, which is going to allow the shield to come through. So Vinny's job,
Jay's a better hicker than the pros. Why do you think they pay me not to play in these tournaments, chat?
Myself, it's a
Marvel Rivals pays me not to participate because they know if I participated, I'd be winning everything.
I knew you were a penny man.
You can tell. FMCL is going to be sticking it with the Storm here to give that damage boost to Bobo. And with that hit scan Thor team up, they can put a lot of pressure on. You can also see the webs spread out. They have a 2-meter leash range for those extra points from the Biotic Spider Nest to get a little bit of extra leap forward and cover more area. FMCL piling onto the board. They've already got them zoned all the way off to that right-hand side as Thieves look for an opportunity to try and punish Genji as they step forward. But Alex is able to stay up and keep the team pushing forward.
Look at this positioning for 100 Thieves, though. Self staying on the high ground, noticing the Storm is going to be there, trying to counteract it. Those Chaos Swords, you could delete a Storm very quickly from high ground if you find the right spot. But they are having to back away. TTK just holding that front line right now on the Emma as Duet maybe seeing if you can do something with those Chaos Swords. It's straight to the nest.
Nice. I really do like what 100 Thieves is doing, though. Putting self on the high ground like they mentioned.
Genji as they push on forward. Bobo taking a lot of damage, but the healing is good as the Cosmic Guard Amplifier is dropped and immediately destroyed. Thieves on the board there with that quick reaction time, but now we have the choke point with the infinite ammo as Bobo unleashes a shotgun into the choke point as the point ticks on higher and higher. Thieves have to step up. The walls are splitting them in two. The health bar's dropping down, but the web
oh, save TTK. Nice.
Millennia is able to build one up just about quick enough. They were bullied into the back, similar
nice
to what we saw previously. But 2 minutes and 25, that is a good amount of time still here for Gen.G. and they're able to get those first 2 notches, with a lot of it being in neutral in the end.
71% for Winnie on that God of Mischief, and Delena is charged up with the Rage of Ultron. A lot of damage, a lot of healing, great protection onto the point. If they could just track onto Bobo.
It's about to be an ult fiesta, chat. 5 ults against 5 ults. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna win?
Just don't get caught by Zen Starry.
Will we see the same commitment from Genji as well to try and eliminate that nest? It gives you so much more freedom breaking into this point. But TTK having Psionic Seduction, Rage is going to be there. The Rage of Ultron from Delena as well just applies that extra pressure. Vinny now pops the ult as well. It's all come out, but Millennia's gone down.
The struggling prison catches them off on the side.
Oh!
Takes them out the air. Vinny is in the spider time to try and delay. They've just got as many webs on the point as possible.
He Magneto's the Magneto ult.
They try and delay exactly as we said. They swap to Strange. They don't get the portal.
He Magneto's the Magneto ult.
Yeah,
oh my god.
This will be very difficult for them now in this second point. But Genji,
that's like someone trying to go for it like a dunk.
100 Thieves did previously. They break it
and
a
then
little bit
just
faster
get
than 100 Thieves
their
did.
shit packed.
100 Thieves have a lot of resources to work with going into this next engagement.
Oh my god.
For Gen.G as well, because they still have so much to play with. Sia's going to be the first thing to go down.
Final judgment for the extra setup, but there's just a big old choke point. They can't find the angle onto the members of Thieves, so that's just going to be 2 ults, and they're going to find very little of it. That's the best possible case scenario for Thieves. Now they just need to get themselves set up. They still have that Omega Hurricane, so they can try and force out a defensive tool, or just try and go for the burst. TTK, with that side introduction as the backline, are about to meet the goddess of the storm, but immediately Regenerate shuts it down.
Oh wow, good job to run away, because if he didn't, he was going to die.
100 Thieves have lost 2. Gen.G keep going, and it doesn't matter. By the way, they popped the Sia and the Final Judgment before to counter the ults that had come out on the other side from 100 Thieves. This second point looks like it's surely going to be grabbed unless you have enough delay here from Vinny. But Vinny gets wiped off the face of the earth. Second point gathered. 4 minutes 20 still left for Gen.G.
Nice. 4 minutes and 20 seconds to cap third, chat.
Thieves and Gen.G are answering.
Self is back on the Black Cat. They know that they just need to do what Delena is on the Widow. They're just going to try and use this long sight range from the throne room down the stairs to just try and put the pressure onto Genji. Ultimate-wise, 64%, 65% for Alex on that Raging Royal Flush. 62% for Millennia. They're almost exactly in sync for those ultimates, but Alex has an ever so slight lead. FMCL was taken down and forced onto the Daredevil, so he's going to make himself useful to track Self, removing himself from the fight and coming back with that vision advantage. Delenia has a great angle here.
What have you got for us, Delena? Almost gets plucked out. But it's just going to be able to survive. Has ult available. Could be the big influence moment. They need 100 Thieves just to try and shut down this aggression from Gen.G right now. But similarly, on the other side, Rage and Royal Flush, they can get aggressive whenever they want to at the moment, but the neutral is going in their favor.
What is Vinny doing, bro?
The opener onto Vinny, though.
They're going to try and duel it out as best as they can, but with
Can someone explain to me what Vinny's doing?
The flag once again is a menace. Self cannot find the finishing blows. Tries to escape with the invisibility with the helmet of Hades, but cannot get the finish. Is able to escape and will not get taken down. As Thieves, they respawn and will be able to run to the point.
Yo, can we get a technical timeout to check Vinny's bank account real quick to see if there was a deposit by Gen.G?
Zen Starry with the Jeff team up to keep them off the board, but Thieves are basically down to a single fight.
TTK needs to hit something with his Meteor M, or Self needs to go off on the Black Cat. Vinny starts to get involved.
Oh my god, TTK got dunked on again while ulting. Oh my god. TTK ulted again and got dunked on by the other mag.
Is the body to delay, but Ratatoska creeps forward. Thieves touch the point. Gen.G up 2-0 up versus.
Oh, that was Self the first time? Oh, dude. Everyone's getting dunked on by Duet. Oh,
it does go
my.
to OT, but boy, do they have a time lead here. 3:15 in favor of the 1 minute that is going to be on the side of 100 Thieves. Gen.G have done everything to give themselves the best chance to
Come
go
on, man. 100 Thieves. Show some life,
we have
bro.
seen crazy things happen on this map before.
We really have.
Can 100 Thieves hold a little bit more successfully going into this one? Did they learn the
Wow,
lessons
TTK
from
almost
the
has
previous,
30,000
the way that they weren't
damage, too.
necessarily responding to some of the ults from Gen.G. I think the Nest was taken down a little bit too easily as well, so they need to be better at protecting that. I do want to go back to a key moment, though. Remember when we saw the Sia into the final judgment?
Somebody needs to help
TTK
TTK on the front line, bro.
From what we saw, because it looked like a wait.
Someone, someone needs to help
from
TTK, chat.
100 Thieves. I think they had copied the Gambit. So the
Damage
Rage
blocked by
Royal
Vinny,
Flush, and it was an
almost
instant reply
30,000.
to drop the
Damage
Sia
blocked by
and the
TTK,
final judgment to try and counter it. In the end,
45,000.
it allowed them to push
Look at the other tanks. 57,000 and 44,000. Like, that's a front line that you want.
Instant reply.
What's going on over here, bro?
top on the board, and look at that amount of time left. 3 minutes and 15 seconds versus a minute. No pressure at all. As Thieves set themselves up for the attack, they're running with that Storm for that damage boost. Delena is sticking with the Elsa Bloodstone to try and just get that damage output. Actually, they're going for a little bit of rotation. I think that might just be in spawn hovering. No, they're rolling out with 3 Vanguards. Self is committing to the Magneto.
I mean, the Vanguards are just so good to have on the map at the moment. The health pool is insane.
Nah, even 100 Ds was like, yo, get more tanks, bro. Get more tanks. We can't allow this.
Team to push up, but have they been able to find a way to break through quicker than they did previously? Because last time it just took them way too long. Gen.G could definitely hold here.
Seen triple Vanguard in the past, sometimes with pennies, sometimes with a Vanguard Deadpool, but they're committing to it with the Emma Frost and the Venom here. Pressure onto the board as Emma is already charged up. TTK keeping the pressure on with that Mantis team up as well. They're going to get a lot of extra bonus health as Delena has the high ground, trying to keep track of that Daredevil, but not going to be found yet.
Skittles is building up his ult the fastest out of anyone in the game at the moment, by the way. So the Seer is going to be available for Gen.G first here in this fight. But the neutral is going well for 100 Thieves, but they are forcing them back, bullying them back into this corner at the moment. If they could just get a notch, it would be very good for them.
They're playing 3 tanks, so it should be easier for them to get supportal, but Skittles has their ult and Millennia had 50%? Dude!
Self will return, but that means Delena will not. But he's just going to try and delay a little bit before
what
that
was a rocket gap.
Overtime ticks down. No one's touching, and that is.
Dude! Sorry, chat, I'm gonna rewind real quick. Look at this! Alright, I went a little too far back. I went a little too far back.
Self is committing to the Magneto.
Yeah, but they have 3 tanks. It should be easy for him to get ult charge. Look at this! Look at this! 65% to 30!
They could just get a notch. 90!
He had ult and Millennia was at 43, bro.
To win this game, they only need a single notch. And with how Gen.G have been playing so far, it is hard to go against them here. You may have accidentally said 2-0, but I think quite rightly so at this point from what we're seeing. As a pause does come through, a chance for these players to have a little chat. As 100 Thieves, they are under pressure, they are under fire, and there is a big opportunity for Gen.G to go 2-0 up.
The pause will be removed. We head on.
Coach!
Opportunity for Gen.G to go 2-0 up.
Help them, man!
Pause will be removed. We head full hold for 3 minutes. This is a tough match to set up here. Gen.G, all they have to do is delay and look at these defensive tools. They are still sticking with a 2-2-2, but they are going to be bringing in the Wolverine. If you're not touching the point, you're not capping it. Take them off. You can buy as much time as you need.
Remix can't do anything
just
there, bro.
To try and pinch one of these
Remix can at least like tap someone on the shoulder, tell him to get out of the way and play tank himself. I don't know, bro. He plays tank
well on their defense side. They were able to stop Gen.G on a couple of pushes, but we saw Gen.G already break through after 2 or 3, and they are going to get given several free pushes here now, Gen.G. If at first it doesn't succeed, try again, and boy, do you have the time to do so.
All they have to do is to get a single point. If FMCL removes anyone from the board, they get the control. They have the Media M. They have the Strangling Prison. If they can zone Thieves for long enough, they cap. If they remove people from the board for long enough, if they cap. If they KO them and send them back to spawn for long enough before a portal comes out, they cap. Gen.G have so many win conditions here. All Thieves can do right now is bunker up and hold.
And boy, better you be ready to switch to Strange if you do go down first here on 100 Thieves, by the way.
Almost a first kill, wow.
Almost
a kill by Vinny, nice.
As here comes Gen.G. A single notch is needed here to win this map. Go 2-0 up against 100 Thieves and have them on the brink.
Imagine a tie. This is not going to be a tie. If they tie, I'll take my shirt off.
Both sides climbing up to the high ground to make sure that they can get something down to that choke point. Battle Rebirth Beacon placed just outside of the main gate, and immediately we start to push into that choke point. Wolverine looks for Magneto, but Vinny is able to back away. Regen Domain keeps them up, and immediately the retreat from Gen.G. They don't have to hyper commit here. They have the time.
It's just build up these ults. Play it safe in the neutral. See if you can force something out on the side of 100 Thieves. Let them make the mistake first. You don't have to take risks just yet. You do have time.
That was a very good kill. Millennia said, fuck this shit. I'm going to take this into my own hands and flanked on support, bro. That was a huge kill. The Skittles would have had his ult right there, and it would have been GG.
Gen.G with the closer spawn and making their way back in. TTK with the portal. They have to keep throwing bodies at this.
It's a good portal. It's a huge portal, actually, from TTK, because it will allow them to stall, although the stagger is slightly there. Gen.G are on top of the moment.
No, it's GG's, chat. GG's. GG's.
Portals in as well on the Strange, so it is a strange battle between TTK and Bobo. Vinny falls off the board, but we're onto the high ground to try and take out the strategist, remove that free healing, but it's sent back down to the low ground. FMCL trying to get rid of those front lines, removing from the borders. The point is so close, an inch away as Gen.G take him off the board. It is 2-0 in Gen.G's favor, and they are one map away from moving on.
Gen.G keeping the region alive at the moment against 100 Thieves, who have looked good in this tournament, right? Throughout the play-ins, they showed so much promise. But now, even with their map choice, even taking Gen.G here to Central Park, they still couldn't find success. And it was looking pretty good, right? They got the 3, and we're thinking, okay, you get the 3. We don't see many 3s in pro play. Comparatively, a lot of 2s, you'd be held at that final 1. But then when we get to OT, Gen.G has
still
so
not over, chat. If it was upper bracket, it would be over, but nope, this is a best of 5, so it's a first of 3.
You saw the quick
it's not over yet,
was massive.
But I mean, this should be over.
Rocket is very much still a part of this.
We're probably going to go to museum.
Is absolutely massive.
It wasn't just any triple caps from 100 Thieves as well. It was a clean triple cap. They pushed on through, and well, Gen.G gave everything they could for the defense, but 100 Thieves just kind of walked them there. And then we flip, and there's a little bit of a slow point from Gen.G, but they get the triple cap as well with much more time. They get all the speed they need. And then on that final point, it's just a matter of time, literally. Just a minute and a bit versus 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Gen.G, they just took the time, waited it out, used the ultimates, and that was a fantastic map number 2. We're going to be heading over to the Analyst desk so we can have a breakdown of those 2 incredible maps we just had. Guys, what was that? That was so good.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tetcher. I mean, it looked like some Thieves that got caught stealing because we go with
my ugly ass predicted 100 Thieves in 3rd place, by the way.
Like
why would you,
Gen.G
brother?
Looked cool, confident.
Why would you put 100 Thieves winning 3rd place at LAN?
So many mistakes. There's so many things we need to talk about. Their defense, especially point 2. One fight on point 2.
Like, I love 100 Thieves, don't get me wrong. I love, you know, every single player on that team. They're great friends. But, like,
even after really the botched ultimates,
they barely made it to, like, LAN itself. You think they barely made it to 3rd place in NA? You really think they're going to be 3rd place in the world?
They weren't quite expecting. It felt like they had plans for point 1, but nothing for point 2 onwards.
Yeah, we thought it was great. Like Winnie, like kind of baited out Sia.
They barely made it. What do you mean barely? They barely made it. What do you mean barely? They barely made it.
Snowballed from there. Portal in. You can make it. That's a 3. That could be a 3 fight point. They made it a 1, and from there, you have such a tall task to hold Dracula's castle from their ship.
Yeah, we've been seeing that a lot. I think it's worth reiterating. I mean, Portal on point 2.
Emphasis on the B. Bear.
Know that you want to make it a multi-fight.
Lee made it.
Ults from them by portaling
Bear.
right on the point at point 2.
Lee.
It needs to be an immediate fight. And like we were talking about, using that Gambit ult to pull out the Sia with the final judgment was awesome, but then you just never walked forward.
Yeah, 100%. And honestly, if we're just highlighting and keeping it a buck, I think Gen.G in their band game has been impeccable. And the one thing that they've highlighted over and over, especially on that map,
I feel bad for TTK's dad. Where's TTK? I don't think it's TTK's dad is watching my stream, but god damn, dude.
They looked at group, gone.
I feel bad for him, man.
TTK had some nice Imma plays, but overall, fellas, Duet.
TTK is trying everything, man.
Outplayed the front line by a mile.
I like that Vanguard line far more, but.
Yeah, I mean, seeing how the maps have been going so far, I've been kind of surprised that 100 Thieves didn't fully bounce back, especially how strong they looked on the attack side. They just fell apart afterwards. So going into this next one, they have all
they're barely making it. They're barely making it.
Yeah, for
F you, J3. Don't say F you to J3 because your favorite team is down 0-2, bro. It's not my fault they have Tony Snell trying to fucking dunk the ball, getting packed by... I don't know, fucking, who's someone short, chat? Nate Robinson. Like,
out the gate that mag save. Gen.G on the other hand,
You have Nate
going
Robinson
right,
doing a
hey,
jump
you shut
ball
down Vinny
with,
once, do it
I don't know,
again.
Dwight
This
Howard, and
is
Nate
a
Robinson
learning
is
experience
winning.
for Genji. The reason
Like-
they lost against VP was because they did not have Thing. We saw the mag team
yeah,
up
good
from
point.
Gambit right on the portal. If they were able to get through that with Thing, because he has the unstoppable feature, can't be pushed off, that's why they lost.
Yeah, this is a really good brawl map, too. I mean, Thing is super valuable here. You're going to be right in front of their face. We've
Bro,
seen
you're a
Thieves look good on
traitor.
this map before.
How am I a
Removing Thing is
traitor?
big
How
problem.
am I a
Keeping
traitor?
The mag, I
Look.
do agree with, but I think it
Look.
might have been worth removing the mag and getting the one-sided mag in your favor to stop
How
the
am
web
I
from
a
being
traitor?
unit,
I
which he has
voted
been
for
in every single
Genji.
game.
I think it's
How am
interesting.
I
They
a
took it here
traitor?
Finally, this
What?
is usually their answer back, right off the bat. You want to kind of keep it close to your chest. And we always say this, when your back's against a wall, nothing left to play with, this is it for Thieves.
Yeah.
Everything, any surprises Remix has cooked up and or players, now is the time to throw it out there and see what sticks. Wow, Genji
You shouldn't
getting
pick
a
against your
late
friends?
mag save.
Fuck yeah, I am.
Don't
If
love
I
that shit.
put my channel points and my money on a team that's going to win, I'm gonna, and my friends aren't on that team.
I was gonna say the Rocket Band here
Oh,
too, Vaughn.
fuck them friends,
Skittles
chat.
always had that first on most fights they
Listen,
lost because of it.
friends
So good.
come
I mean,
and
Cosby
go,
on Amplifier,
but money
the most
stays
damage boost
forever,
I've
right?
seen. Also having that whiff of Gambit as well is underrated if you have like
Gotta
two
get your
different
channel points
usages
up,
of
bro.
Damage boost in these fights.
Yeah, Skittles was at ult whenever they were trying to get that last overtime push, and both of the strat backlines for Thieves were at 50%. I mean, you can't even get close to it. Sia is still keeping a lot of that value. Hey, but guess what? That res Golden God is going to be in the hands, and Delena and Self can play it.
Yeah, I think this is actually not, like, on paper it looks like a weird ban, but I think for this map this makes a ton of sense. I think that Thieves
why
can
do
run
you
this map
guys want me to
very
vote
well,
on
and
my
they know that
friends?
Genji's not a stranger to it either,
Money
so
doesn't
why not
lie to
remove it,
you.
allow
Friends
yourself
lie
be
to you.
comfortable and
Friends
take this map where
backstab
can
you.
go.
Money
Loki
doesn't.
ban is massive. You do not
My
want
channel points will
double
stay
res,
with me
especially
forever.
on Museum. If you don't have Adam, don't let them have it twice.
Yeah, and Winnie, I would say one of the more underrated Lokis throughout this, has had great play with it, but Vinny shut down. We're going to have to see what he can come up with. Casters, take it away, as this could be it for 100 Thieves, Tetra and Gaskin at Museum of
You
Contemplation.
need better
Name
friends.
a more iconic duo
Ay, ay, ay.
than Thieves and Adam Warlock. They find
No,
themselves
I love 100 Thieves,
in
chat,
a tough
but-
position where they are down 2 maps and they look to the perfect
I love
being
100
to
Thieves, but I do
revive
really
their
think
tournament
Genji's winning.
legacy.
Genji,
Now,
this
is where the
is my first time
experience
watching
has to
Genji,
kick
and
in
they are
for
looking like a
100
very
Thieves.
strong
Someone has
team.
to
So
step up on the
they
squad
did
to
really
keep
good
the
against Virtus Pro, and I
mentality
can't.
at an all-time high.
I can't
for
vote
100
against
Thieves.
them.
If you allow your heads to drop at this point, you may just be rolling over and showing your belly to a Gen.G who have looked phenomenal so far. That being said, it is going to be Museum of Contemplation, a very comfortable map for 100 Thieves. I thought they were going to go there in the previous, but they are leaving it now to the third map. But even if 100 Thieves were to win this, it does give Gen.G, of course, a selection of map next. Remember, this is a best of 5, so Gen.G just one away from sending 100 Thieves home. And even though it's not far to go, it would certainly be a painful elimination if they found themselves exiting at top 8.
Genji still not going to be going for a triple setup for the strategist. They still want to just go for that extra duelist potential, but the front line is going to be beefy. FMCL is going to be taking
What happens
over
if you lose in the
Zensari's
upper
job
bracket?
on the group, because
You go to the
Zensari
lower
is
bracket.
sticking with the thing, and Duep is of course back on mag duty. Thieves though, expecting that hyper delay, they go for the Storm and the Winter Soldier. If you need to push and you need to get through a hyper defensive composition, you make sure that when you finish it off, it goes down as fast as possible, and Kraken Impact with damage boost is the perfect tool for this.
A lot of eyes on Thing as well. Can you get those fists into the faces of 100 Thieves? But they've been able to force them back so successfully from that damage boost. Delena overstepping.
Come on,
to see
GTK,
if you can
carry
get
this
that
shit,
pick.
bro.
100
Come
Thieves,
on.
they've done the job. They break that first push forward, and you already see an invisible boundary coming out from Gen.G, by the way. That's ridiculous.
Boundary comes on out from Skittles.
Whoa,
They're trying
whoa,
to make
what
the
am I
most
looking
of
at?
it, but
Whoa,
Thieves
whoa,
with a
whoa.
very good retreat. Vinny will finally fall, as does TTK. Battle Rebirth Beacon brings back one, but not the other, meaning that Gen.G will retake that defensive position, and Thieves will be forced to reset, but they are building up towards their first set of ultimates, and with Skittles
That's
already
crazy,
using
bro.
one of their big defensive tools, what does Gen.G have to deal? First set of ultimates, and with Skittles already using one of their big defensive
Skittles
tools,
is on his
what does
second
Gen.G have
ult.
to deal with?
Skittles is on his second ult, and Millennia's at 55%, chat.
Alex does commit to the Raging
He's
Royal
almost
Flush, but
getting
now you'll see the
overlapped
Kraken
in
Impact
ult
comes out
charge.
Alongside the Psionic Seduction as 100 Thieves, they need to win this fight.
They're able to
Bro,
take down one,
Skittles-
but they turn it around. Gen.G finish them off the board.
Skittles
TTK
is
trying to brawl, but
overlapping
it's trying to
Millennia
retreat
and
back to
ult
spawn
charge
as well.
already.
They burned almost all their available tools
They're-
there, and Gen.G, despite losing their first setups there, they still turn it round.
I very much worry for 100 Thieves now. Heads feel like they're in the gutter. Mistakes starting to be made. pressure is on their shoulders, but Gen.G are in the ascendancy at the moment, and they're starting to build up even more ult. Strangling Prison to be there to contain alongside the Meteor M if Gen.G want to use it.
They almost have the Apex Predator as well available for Bobos. They're at 88% towards the glass.
Skittles has ult again. Skittles has ult again in 2 minutes. 2 minutes! He got an ult every minute. That's great. Oh, nice block. Nice block by TTK.
Up and allow Thieves to try and keep the momentum going, forcing out the boundary from Skittles. Dragon in Prism for the turnaround, but Vinny is absorbing so much of that damage as it's just going to attempt to be a 1v1.
Wait, did they just try to...
The Storm, but Self is deleted from the board.
Self goes in, but Self
They just tried to double ult Skittles and they both missed. They missed the mag ult and they didn't kill him with the Storm ult.
Zenstar pops the clobbering time. Dueb gets the pop onto Self as well, and 100 Thieves once more find themselves bullied back to spawn as Gen.G are dominating them here.
But they do have another push coming with 1 minute left on the board. We have Raging Royal Flush. Kraken Impact is just around the corner. Psychic Seduction for the setup. That is more than enough to wipe Gen.G off the board. But the last time they tried it, Alex had his own Raging Royal Flush, and he's close to it again. He has the potential to just wipe them and turn this again. But it's all up to Gen.G to make sure that they don't get caught in the initial onslaught.
Who steps up for 100 Thieves? Who makes that big moment to keep them in this series? Will it be Delena with the Kraken Impact? Initial damage is done, but it's flipped around. Winnie's going to be the one who gets that first pick. FMCL goes down as well as 100 Thieves finally break through. There's a little bit of fight back from Gen.G, but it looks like 100 Thieves will do enough to get around this corner. It took far too long, Tetra, but at least it's job one done, but there is still more to do.
They just burned everything. Let's hear the celebration with the listens in by Razor.
Ooh! Let's hear it.
Really safe.
Down, breaking out.
I'm ready whenever. Can you throw it deep?
I can go whenever, I can go.
We don't have 95.
It's a one, no sweat.
Are they right? Are they right? Or they're left.
There we can go. 3,
Yeah.
2, 1. All cutting, all cutting.
All kiting. All kiting.
All six, all one.
That was a huge... That was a big Venom ult. That was a big Venom ult.
Hell.
Hello? Just casters?
Push it on to the point for the
Okay, there we
last
go.
bit of overtime here as Gen.G, Meteor M to absorb as much damage as possible and try and remove TTK. Take it off the board. Vinny with the Symbiotic Resilience for at least a little bit of extra delay, but they're not touching the point. The great Eye of Agamotto was not needed, as that's going to be Gen.G with a fantastic hold.
And you heard the silence coming through during the Razor listen. I think 100 Thieves started to realize what was happening to them. They're not even going to get the first point here. Gen.G, now
Listen,
all they have to do is get to point one. And
I don't think I've ever seen this Skittles guy before. I probably have, but I'm old, so I probably forgot. This guy might be the best fucking support player I've ever seen. This guy had ult every 60 seconds.
Again, I want to go back to the
That is
here. If you are 100
insane.
Thieves, you know now you have to be flawless.
That is insane. Every 60
Nothing
seconds he had
but
ult.
flawless, and that is kind of familiar from the last round, but in this case, there's not even the triple cap to lean back on that you have pushed them before. It's all down to Thieves being able to put up the perfect defense, and as such, we talked about it earlier, it's time to lean on the perfect being. Delena, Adam Warlock, with as much sustain as they can give. The penny comes on out. It's the 0-0-0-3 for every defense they can offer. Can Thieves pull off the hold and keep the dreams of the third American team alive?
I mean, if it's going to happen from any comp, it would be this one. It would be having the Adam Warlock to bring it back if things go sour here for 100 Thieves. But with how well Gen.G have been building up their ultimates in the neutral, they've been winning that battle time and time again here, which just has had them ahead, winning that first engagement, which would give them so much room and space going into this first point.
They've swapped over to the Storm. Punisher Storm, the classic spawn break combo to just try and eat their way through Thieves. We've already seen the Gen.G can burn through the trap. They find it, take it down, and that is a huge advantage taken as they immediately try to get as much momentum onto TTK as they can. With that Chaos Sword, the extra damage output while Bobo builds up Instinct bit by bit. But it's all about that finish line at the end of point 1 that Gen.G needs to get to, and they're putting a lot of pressure onto 100 Thieves, and they have already pushed to where 100 Thieves were basically stalled for most of that first round.
And again, it's going to be Skittles. Look over towards that ult charge on the side of the invisible boundary. Gen.G should get first attempt to drop an ult here, but they could hold it if they wanted to use it as a response to something from 100T. TTK is still building up that side introduction, but no, it comes out straight away here from Gen.G. They want to take full advantage of their win in the neutral. Zenstari takes down Delena.
Delena's already down, but he's going to come back with the cocoon, which means he will not have it if he gets taken down again. Self will fall. Battle Rebirth Beacon not going to bring them back on the guard amplifier, because suddenly Thieves are in the danger zone. They've got everything to throw at the wall, but they're losing members. Self is going to swap over to the Strange to make sure they can come on back. Delena's at 95% towards the Karmic Revival, but he's got to stay alive through it. Millennia with a great invisible boundary. Counter with the Sonic Seduction as Gen.G are routed. TTK
there you go, TTK. Oh, there you go, TTK. There you go, TTK.
Thieves will hold. Karmic Revival is going to be there now for Delena. That's what's important here for 100 Thieves. A successful hold, which gives them the backup plan of Karmic Revival into that next engagement. It looked dicey, but at the first test, 100 Thieves, they had the answers, and now they just need to reset,
that TTK plays controller,
sure
chat.
They're prepared for this next push, because Gen.G have
TTK is playing
light.
lights out, bro.
On the Adam
He
cocoon,
needs
meaning
help,
that
man.
he is vulnerable for a large period of time. If he goes down, he is out the fight. He has to fly back and try and make it. So Delena already got close. Spider Time's going to come on out early to make sure they can try and zone the position. They can at least set up webs with this and try and set some of the traps. As many mines being placed down as possible. Gen.G though, the Kraken impact, the straggling person is available at the point. Zenstari goes down as Duem, looking for the media ram. The front line.
Oh, good healing. I don't know how he lived, but nice.
Are looking to try and turn this round.
Apex Predator was a whiff as well from Gen.G, so 100 Thieves doing very well at holding at the moment. If they can keep this Karmic Revival alive, but Vinny's gone down, do you pop it now? Is this the moment here for 100 Thieves to try and go for the nothing or broke?
Self is down. Delena with the Karmic Revival brings back Self, brings back TTK, keeps them on the board, but Gen.G are still going in. They found the res. They're trying to zone them. Here comes the Silent Seduction for at least an attempt at a turnaround. Media able to the point.
Nice. Good shit, Self.
Thieves are throwing everything at this point to try and hold. They're forcing Gen.G back one more time.
Gen.G will back off. They will respect.
There's
the
no way.
100 Thieves.
There's no way 100 Thieves wins this,
now
bro.
100T again. They just have to mentally reset once more. They do have Sia.
They do have two support ults.
Revival, it is do or
They do
die.
have two
They
support
cannot
ults. They
afford to
could
lose
do this,
next
chat.
fight.
They could do this.
There is going to be the Rage of Royal Flush. Here comes Gen.G.
They're pushing in as best as they can, trying to take them down with the anti-heal from Alex. As much burst damage as they can. There's no revive available, meaning it's all down to the
Okay, Millennia, you gotta carry Millennia. Millennia, you gotta carry.
To hit that boundary, but it's all about if Gen.G can maybe snipe them with that glove.
Skittles, nope, Skittles has his ult again. Dude, can someone ban? Check Skittles' PC, bro. This is not real. This is not real.
Goes to the wraparound, tries to take out the nest with those ricochet shots, but just cannot get it.
They cannot find the nest. As you say, Glatrox needs to do something here, but now the invisible boundary is out.
Oh my god, someone said come on, boys. They screamed that. Nice.
It's traded out, but still no KO was found. Bobo, do you get anything with the Glatrox? The answer is no. Bobo gets removed as Winnie
100 Thieves!
Portal is available for Gen.G and it might need to be used.
100 Thieves!
As they are scaled off the board. Bobo's coming back on Winter Soldier. He thinks his team can hold and that damage might be enough. He's sticking with Elsa. Spider Time comes out from Vinny though, which means the nest. The
No. Bro, Delena, get your ult. Delena, get your ult. You need it. Delena, get your ult. You need it. That's good. That's good. That's good. Chat, this is insane. LeBron!
It's screwed. It's Thing. The damage of it is huge, but the healing is better. Gen.G are still holding.
Oh my god, this is insane. Oh, come on! Nice! Big res! Big res! Oh my god! Does he have his self-res? Can he revive everyone still? You gotta stay on the point! Massive res! You gotta stay on the point! TTK! TTK! You're him, TTK! Millennia! Millennia, get your invis! Get your invis! Get your invis!
Everything they have is all they have.
They got invis!
That's a huge chunk of the damage removed as Thieves Self is ready to move back in. The Psionic
Get it,
seduction
TTK, get it,
to try and
TTK!
take the
TTK,
backside
there's
out.
people on the point! Where are you going?
Bit by bit as Gen.G, their assault is
Oh my god!
Umbra Thieves stay
Oh
alive.
my god! That game, I wasn't even playing, chat, and I'm sweaty. Oh my god!
And I have to give so much credit to Delena on the Adam Warlock.
Oh my god! Look at that! I see that! I see that! I see that little smile! I see that!
And somehow,
Favor of Gen.G.
Oh
but
my
Thieves
god.
Just took Museum
Dude.
of Contemplation. A map
What
that we
a
always talk about
match,
teams
bro.
choosing to
What
take, and often
a
it
match.
doesn't
That
go
was one of the
well,
best
but
games
this
of
time
Marvel Rivals
they
we've seen in a
hold,
long
they
time, chat.
survive, and 100
Holy
Thieves
shit.
are
Show
looking
me the
to try
stats.
And end the Pacific fans' dreams.
Show me the stats. Jarvis,
who was
show
gonna
me the
step up?
stats.
Who was going to be the man of the moment, the player of the moment? Delena was exactly that. When